a moment ago. So I just did a consult with a woman in her 30s, and it didn't record. I'm redoing it right now. Oh, you're going to learn how things are put together in a case as I go over this. So this is Your Health Reclaimed, where we expose the root causes fueling Lyme and chronic illness so you can finally heal, helping you to understand and heal the root cause of Lyme and chronic illness so you can reclaim your health and restore your life. I'm Dr. Brad Montagna, veteran functional medicine doctor. We can typically restore the health and life of people who've been to multiple doctors and never found any help from any of those, and they come to us and we get them healthy again at a pretty high percentage. So let's get into this. She's a woman in her mid-30s. She's been doctoring her whole life. She's had, I'll tell you what the primary complaints are. Digestive issues. She was on a trip overseas when she was a teenager, was stuck on a bus where she couldn't use the bathroom for 16 hours, had constipation ever since then, has had to use irritants, cathartics, things along that line to help her go to the bathroom ever since. So that's 20 years in going. Migraines since she was a teenager. They're worse in cycles, but those are common all the way through. And she had a couple of teeth that died, got a root canal in one of them, and didn't do the other one because she found out what happened with those. There's a family history of all the women in the family have cycle problems. She was born in a foreign country, raised in a foreign country. One of the grandmothers died from cancer at a fairly young age, mid-40s. Got some minor surgery issues that are there. She's tried about everything, and nothing's really worked at all. And as I said, seen multiple doctors. She's got daily depression, headaches, insomnia, chronic pain, bloating with all the meals. And depression is proportional to how much sleep she gets. Primary goals are to not have stress and have healthy bowel habits. History of alcohol abuse, chronic fatigue, dental problems, depression, ear issues, IBS, migraines, skin and rash issues, alcohol from partying in the youth. Every kind of abuse that's out there is in the past. Her female issues are irregular. The 31 to 38 day long cycles, they're all over the map. They typically start with spotting and then heavy with clotting, all dark blood. Had 3 pregnancies, 2 children, family history of similar issues that are out there. She does exercise. She wants to really be a whole bunch healthier than she is. With her cycles, she typically gets emotional. She craves sweets, bread, salt and sugar. Tends to bloat. Once the flow starts, it's clotting and heavy after the first day. Her diet's completely imbalanced. Not know how to balance protein and doesn't have adequate fiber in it. Vegetables are all over the place. So when we get into this, we start talking about what sets the stage for all this, and what sets the stage is the gut and the diet. We got into the epigenetics of it's our lifestyle and dietary lifestyle. And gut health is a huge part of that very issue. The gut is where we take in all of our nutrients, and the diet And the gut issues depend on whether we get all our fuels, how they're processed, and all that. So we talked about the microvilli. Microvilli is a lining of your gut. The lining is very much like if you hold your fingers up in front of your face. Your fingers represent the microvilli, and that increases the surface area of the gut about 400 times. The mucus is secreted by the microvilli. It fills the spaces in between the microvilli and it caps over the top. That's where all the microbes in the gut live. With mucus and the microbes in there, the food can't touch the gut wall. So some microbes that come out of the mucus go interact with the food in the inside of the gut, does the digestion, brings the nutrients back into the microvilli to absorb the food. And that's how it works in the soil with the roots of plants and all that. So the microvilli primarily live off the fiber that we eat and that ferments the fiber. So it's a real happy medium. But whenever there's a chronic inflammatory issue, and diet's a big part of this, there's multiple things that can cause that. It causes the microvilli to atrophy, and it's like you close your fingers, make a fist, and roll up so you just see your knuckles. There's no place to really make mucus or hold the microbes. So the healthy ones wash down the toilet. That allows pathogens to grow. There's a history of fungal infections, yeast infections. That lets us know that the flora in the gut is not very healthy at all. And with pathological gut flora, it makes food ferment or rot. It doesn't digest it properly, and that doesn't give us the proper nutrients to be able to build health and build life. It's the microbes in the gut. They make part of it, the volume of every hormone that we make, part of the volume of every neurotransmitter we make. Those microbes interact with the gut and everything else that goes on inside the body. They have a lot of control over a lot of different functions. And when you destroy the healthy microbes and you just have pathological ones, we build pathological hormones, we build pathological neurotransmitters, and we fill the rest of the body full of all kinds of toxicity. And that's really the root issue of what's going on with her, is the integrity of the gut's been destroyed for 20 years at least. Looks like it's been a case for generations. And that she never started with a good and healthy gut in the first place. And to really change her health around, that's going to need to change also. So we tie all this together with what's going on with her clinically, how it's the gut function, the gut microbes, the diet that turns all of the hormones upside down and creates all the scenario for all that, and what it's going to take to restore that, how our evaluations, we go in, we evaluate all the metabolic functions, all the hormone functions, the food intolerances, and then we go through the infective issues and environmental toxins to find out on day one everything that's going on, how to address that, and just how to restore life. So she's quite interested in this. She's headed off overseas soon. She's going to spend 2 months with her family over in Morocco. They're moving to Morocco. And when she gets back, she wants to talk about how to go forward with this. So I'm going to switch from here to the dialogue we had at the tail end of this. So I just did a consult with Charlotte. For your dad? And that went pretty good. She's originally from France.
I wondered, she had an accent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when she works at Pierre's.
Okay.
So she's headed to Morocco soon. She's going to be gone for 2 months, and her family's moving there. So she's going to visit her family in Morocco.
Oh, not her family, immediate, her family.
Yeah, so her and her son are going.
Okay.
I start talking about, start from a general overview and getting closer and start talking about the gut integrity and diet, controlling a bunch of things. One of those is protein metabolism, and the lines in her face are something that you can see that she's got a problem with connective tissue. And start talking about where that shows up. And just in casual mentioning, I said, that's what makes breasts tend to be more perky. It's the connective tissue that makes them hold their shape. And she asked a couple of clarifying questions because it's pretty clear that she doesn't wear a bra. And she says, especially when you're nursing, because she's been nursing for the last 2 years. And I said, yeah, that's one of the telltale signs of connective tissue problems when the breasts
Collapse.
start to sag, lose their shape. Their youthful shape, I think is the way that I put that. So she's interested. She doesn't have a ton of money, and she'll see where she's at financially when she gets back from Morocco.
You should probably feel better in Morocco if she eats properly there.
Yeah, and I said, it's obvious that for generations you have the women in your family have not had healthy diets. They've all got cycle issues. Our cycles.
Her family's in France, so the French.
All the women have cycle problems.
Yeah, the French really like their sweets, their
spinach, their wine, their cheeses.
yeah.
So, you look at her diet, 2 eggs with some whole grain bread and butter. That's typically what she has. That's generally a rye bread. Helps her feel more satisfied with the rye bread in there. Your diet needs a lot of help. Lunch, there's chicken, green beans, rice, and green salad. That's the healthiest meal she has in the whole thing. She said, I heard that the most important meal of the day is breakfast. I said, that's absolutely true. We talked quite a bit about diet. Dinner, sweet potatoes and butter.
That's it?
That's it. Breakfast is the same all the way through. Lunch, the next day, tomato salad and rice. Dinner was beef patty, potatoes, salad. Third day, rye bread, mayo, tomato, and a dark green salad. Dinner, lentil salad with carrots and parsley. She goes out 1 or 2 times a week for food. And I started talking about diet. So the problem is I got a husband who, I've got a problem with diet. Said, problems you have with diet, first and foremost, you have no idea how to balance your protein.
Yeah. Yeah, the amount of protein in your diet is very...
Having enough good protein to satisfy your needs. And when you do have other things with protein, they're not balanced. So it doesn't work. And that's one of the foundational things that everybody who comes to visit, your husband, your son, everybody in your house needs you to understand how to balance protein.
Because even if they're going to eat different, they need to understand what's the point of eating? Why do people eat? Good question. Why do you eat? Why does a person need to eat?
Very good question. Yeah, so I talked about she's been on cathartics or irritants since she was 16, so 20 years.
Wow.
Her constipation started when she was visiting India on her own. She's a party chick when she was young. And I didn't get into what her drugs were. And, I forgot about that and thought about coming back to it a couple of times. And At the end I said, I do a podcast. Would you mind if I posted this? Nobody's going to know who you are, all without a first name. Yeah, that'd be fine. That'd be fine. And, for that, we can stay away from some issues. But I'm talking general issues as far as cycles and all that, and hormone dysregulation, and basically everything that's going on with all this. And said, you're going to have a lot. You need to understand how to fix your diet. You're going to need to understand, you got to fix your gut wall. Because those two are the foundation for everything. And all the programs out there, they don't address it. So anyway, I went through all that stuff, and she'll see where she's at when she gets back from Morocco financially and see what we can do. So
Okay.
she's back on November 1st. She leaves pretty soon.
Okay.
So that's that.
I should put that on my calendar so you know. So you can
Yeah,
check
Lydia, good idea.
What's her name?
Charlotte.